there is a truth so profound, so disruptive, that once you grasp it, you'll never see your life the same way again. Nothing around you is real until you decide it is. The world you live in isn't solid. It isn't fixed. It isn't waiting for you to figure it out. It's waiting for you to observe it into being. This isn't just spiritual poetry. It's quantum physics. In the now famous double-slit experiment, scientists noticed something bizarre. When electrons weren't being watched, they acted like waves, existing in multiple states at once, spread across possibilities. But when an observer got involved, the electrons collapsed into particles, into form, into something definite. The act of observation altered the outcome. The observer shaped reality, which means you're not just a passive bystander in the universe. You're not here to endure a script you didn't write. You're the one directing the quantum stage. You're the observer. And more than that, you're the force that collapses infinite possibilities into a single reality. Yet most people live as if the world is already set in stone, as if their circumstances are unchangeable. They wake up each day replaying the same thoughts, the same reactions, the same emotional cycles. They keep observing what already is, and by doing so, they keep recreating it endlessly. Not because they want to, but because they don't know how to see differently. But what if you did? What if you stopped viewing your life through the lens of limitation and started observing with intention, with faith, with curiosity? What if, instead of noticing lack, you chose to see potential? Instead of reacting to the past, you began responding to the future calling you? This is the invitation of quantum manifestation, and it starts right here. Because reality isn't something that happens to you. It happens through you. The quantum field, the invisible ocean of vibrating energy beneath everything, is brimming with possibilities. It doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you observe with energy, emotion, and focus. The field isn't listening for words. It's waiting for frequency. So I'll ask you, where is your attention? Every moment, your focus is like a flashlight, lighting up one version of reality over another. Are you shining that light on fear, doubt, lack? Or are you pointing it toward trust, gratitude, possibility? Most people try to change their lives from the outside in, but real transformation, true reality shifting, begins when you change what you choose to notice. Because every time you emotionally engage with a thought, you observe it. Every time you fixate on what's not working, you feed it energy. You make it more real. But every time you tune into a brighter possibility, even if it hasn't happened yet, you pull it closer. You start the process of collapsing it into form. This isn't metaphysical fantasy, it's quantum fact. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And that energy is what instructs the quantum field. Not your effort, not your struggle, your awareness, your state of being. And that means you don't have to force your way into a new life. You just have to become the observer who sees that new life already taking shape. You have to trust that reality isn't fixed. It's fluid. It responds. It reacts to your focus. So if everything around you is waiting to be observed into existence, what will you choose to see next? This is the start of a new way of living. Not as someone hoping the world changes, but as someone choosing how to engage with the field, moment by moment, as a conscious observer, a deliberate creator. Let this be the shift, because what comes next will forever alter how you see, feel, and shape your reality. Your consciousness isn't confined to the brain. It isn't limited by space, time, or circumstance. It's the invisible sculptor of reality. the quiet creative force that molds form from the field. The world you see isn't the cause of your inner state, it's the reflection of it. And that reflection begins long before any action or event. Thinkers like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Amit Goswami, and Bob Proctor have spent decades bridging quantum physics and spiritual wisdom, showing that consciousness comes first. Matter follows. Amit Goswami put it plainly: consciousness creates reality, not the other way around. This flips everything you thought you knew about life. It turns you from passive witness into active creator. But what does this actually mean? It means your intention, your directed attention, begins to weave wave-like possibilities into solid form. That what you observe with steady awareness collapses into reality. The field around you is neutral, but your awareness guides it. Your attention gives it shape. In the quantum realm, particles behave as waves until observed. In human creation, your attention acts as the observing tool. It doesn't need action. It needs presence. It doesn't require method. It requires alignment. It doesn't depend on external triggers. It depends on inner alignment. When your mind merges with feeling, when emotion blends with intention, consciousness imprints a blueprint onto the field. That blueprint becomes the silent command that starts reshaping your inner world and eventually manifests outwardly in form. Some call this intention setting or creative manifestation. Others simply call it quantum creation. This is where spiritual practice meets measurable science. Joe Dispenza highlights measurable shifts in brainwaves, physiology, and electromagnetic fields when people hold focused intent with emotion. Bob Proctor notes that it's not your thoughts alone that shape reality. It's the energy behind them. It's not the spoken desire. It's the state that carries it. Consciousness isn't just personal, it's non-local. This means your awareness can influence reality at a distance, even before things take physical form. You don't need closeness. You need presence. You don't need outside validation. You need inner certainty. And this is the radical shift. The outer world isn't the cause, it's the effect. Your consciousness is the root, the soil, and the seed. The field is the fertile ground, and your attention is the quiet trigger that lets potential bloom into existence. So the next time you feel powerless, remember, you are not powerless. You are an endlessly creative force, a conscious architect shaping the world through the precision of your focus and the clarity of your state. That is your invitation now, to pause, to breathe, to turn awareness inward, to realize that consciousness isn't passive, it is deeply creative. And the reality you experience isn't just happening to you, it's unfolding through you. Creation doesn't start with effort, it starts with focus. Every moment, your life is being molded by what you give your energy to, not what you claim to want, not what you wish for, but what you consistently observe, react to, and lean into. Attention isn't passive, it's magnetic. Every waking second, you're tuning your inner frequency, and that frequency is giving instructions to the quantum field. Your attention is a tool more powerful than action, willpower, or discipline. Why? Because energy follows awareness. Wherever your attention lingers, your energy gathers, amplifies, and begins shaping your field into form. That's why the same thoughts produce the same feelings, which lead to the same choices, which maintain the same reality. This isn't just metaphor, it's energetic physics in motion. Your emotional focus sets the vibrational quality of your field. Your thoughts don't just describe your life, they activate matching timelines. So when you keep focusing on what's not working, what's missing, or what hurts, the quantum field responds, not by judging, but by reflecting. If you keep observing your current life as just how it is, you unintentionally reinforce it. Your inner state of observation becomes the blueprint for what the universe builds next. You look at what is, react emotionally, and through that loop, you observe again. Same input, same output. But when you shift your attention toward a new possibility, one aligned with your highest vision, and do it with emotional presence, you begin collapsing a new version of reality. You stop replaying the past and start vibrating the future. This is the secret. Few are willing to practice with discipline, to stop observing what is and start observing what can be, as if it already is. That's how quantum change begins. You're not faking, you're focusing. You're becoming the observer of a higher pattern until that pattern stabilizes and materializes. The old self wants to constantly check the facts of your current life. It wants to validate fears, replay memories, measure progress. But the quantum self knows the only true reality is the one you emotionally stabilize within. If you observe limitation, you expand limitation. If you observe potential, you unlock it. So here's the energetic shift. Observation must become intentional. Focus must become sacred. You are not here to mindlessly witness what already exists. You are here to witness the invisible into form. Each time you give your full presence to what you wish to experience, love, abundance, peace, vitality, and embody the emotion of already being it, your attention becomes the activator. Not hope, not wishing, but the internal decision to observe what the world hasn't yet caught up to. This is the art of conscious creation, choosing what to see before it's seen, holding the frequency of your desired timeline before evidence appears. Not because you're delusional, but because the field responds to your observation, not your conditions. And here's the powerful truth. You don't have to eliminate every limiting thought. You only need to become more devoted to your desired focus than your familiar fear. The quantum field doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency. It needs coherence between what you focus on and who you're becoming within. So the invitation is simple and radical. Begin watching your focus like it's a sacred compass. Interrupt the urge to observe what you don't want. Withdraw your attention from narratives that hurt. And, with gentleness, devotion, and practice, place your awareness where your soul is calling you. Because what you choose to observe with love cannot help but become real. You were never meant to just passively witness life unfold. You came here to shape it with your presence. Many still believe they're waiting for something to change. Waiting for the job, the love, the health, the opportunity. But in the quantum world, nothing moves until you observe it into motion. Nothing becomes real until your consciousness tells the field, "This is what I choose to anchor." This is the moment your identity shifts from someone reacting to reality to someone collapsing it into form. You are not just watching this movie. You are directing it. You are the lens, the light, the script, and the screen. Every time you focus on something with emotion, you give it weight in the quantum field. You're not just seeing it, you're collapsing a wave of probability into a particle of experience. That's why certain patterns repeat. You keep noticing them, you feed them with attention, and the universe, infinitely responsive, reflects them back. This isn't punishment, it's precision. The quantum field isn't giving you what you deserve, it's giving you what you reinforce through observation, emotion, identity. This is your power, and why so many unknowingly live out cycles they no longer want. But here's the shift. When you start observing a new story, even before it exists, you weave new possibilities into reality. Not by force, but by witnessing them long enough, clearly enough, with enough emotional clarity that they must respond. That's the essence of collapse. Possibility becomes presence, and it happens through you. When you truly grasp how much power your observation holds, you stop outsourcing your transformation to the world. You stop saying, "When life gives me peace, I'll feel peaceful," and start saying, "When I embody peace, life will reflect it." Imagine you're watching two realities. One is a timeline where you're still stuck in old emotions, still proving your limitations, still fixated on everything that hasn't worked. The other is a timeline that already exists, where you've become the version of yourself who is free, joyful, abundant, loved. Both timelines exist in the quantum field, but only one becomes physical. The one you choose to observe with depth and devotion. That's what acting as if truly means. It's not pretending. It's not delusion. It's choosing to observe what isn't visible yet until it becomes real. You become the collapser when you stop reacting and start deciding. When you look at your current circumstances and say, "This isn't all there is. I choose to see something greater." You claim authorship over the field. And as you persist, the gap between inner and outer closes. What you once imagined becomes what you experience because you held it as truth before the proof arrived. So here's your invitation. Start observing your future self as if they're already here. Feel their energy. Picture how they move, how they speak, what they believe, and hold that image in your heart like it's already your reflection. Because in a universe shaped by observation, the most powerful thing you can do is see clearly what others don't yet see, and become it. There's a moment, subtle but profound, when you realize the universe isn't testing you, punishing you, or withholding from you. It's just responding. The quantum field isn't emotional. It doesn't see what you want and question if you deserve it. It doesn't check your past, your karma, or your goals. It only reads one thing, your frequency. It mirrors it, faithfully, exactly, every time. That's why life can seem confusing. Your conscious mind asks for one thing, while your vibration broadcasts another. You may visualize abundance, but radiate scarcity. You may affirm love, but resonate with fear of rejection. You may dream of freedom, but cling emotionally to control, doubt, or comparison. And the field? It doesn't debate or judge. It just reflects back what you consistently embody. It's not personal. It's vibrational. This is the great shift of awareness. Manifestation isn't about convincing the universe of your desires. It's about aligning your energy with the version of you who already has them. That version already exists. They're already alive in the field. But you can't experience them from a frequency that clashes with theirs. The field can't deliver peace through chaos. It can't bring you worth through self-doubt. Not because you're unworthy, but because the vibrations don't match. So what do? You stop focusing on controlling outcomes and start tending to your inner state. You begin the sacred practice of observing your own thoughts, not judging them, but noticing them. You tune into your emotional baseline, not just how you feel occasionally, but how you usually feel. Because it's your baseline that sends out the signal. It's the frequency you carry when no one's watching. Watching that shapes your reality. When you take responsibility for what you're putting out, everything shifts. You move from victim to creator. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What am I radiating that's attracting this?" Not from guilt, not from blame, but from awareness and from power. The field reflects you, but most people keep trying to change the reflection without changing what they're showing it. They try to manifest money without healing their scarcity mindset. They seek love without becoming someone who feels worthy of it. They try to fix their outer world without ever addressing their inner one. And the field keeps responding. So here's the moment of truth. Ask yourself right now, What am I constantly noticing? What emotions do I keep revisiting? What frequency am I living in? Not just during meditation, but in daily life. This isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about choosing, again and again, to return to the frequency of who you want to be, until that frequency feels like home. And then it becomes real. When you realize the field is neutral, you reclaim your power. Because if it isn't judging you, it isn't holding you back either. There are no energetic gatekeepers, only energetic agreements, and you can rewrite them starting now. With every breath, every belief, every moment of presence, you're casting votes into the field. You're declaring, "This is who I am," and the universe answers accordingly. Let this be your turning point. You don't have to earn your dream life. You just have to align with it. You have to admit it. And you have to do it with the emotional honesty of someone already living it. That's why this moment matters. This is your chance to stop reacting and start resonating, to stop pleading and start projecting, to stop justifying and start living it, because the field is already listening. If this resonated, type below, "I choose what I see." Let writing it down be your anchor, a signal to the universe that you're now viewing life through the lens of creation, not reaction. There's a place inside you untouched by appearances, unshaken by circumstance. It's the part of you that simply observes, without panic, without stories, without static. This is the silent witness, and it holds more power than any effort you've ever forced. The silent witness doesn't manifest through struggle. It doesn't chase outcomes or resist the present. It knows something deeper. That reality rearranges itself, not through noise, but through stillness. Not through wishing, but through witnessing with presence. In the quantum world, everything exists as potential, a wave of infinite possibilities. But that wave doesn't collapse because you struggle. It collapses when you observe with clarity, when you see with certainty, when your presence aligns with what you desire. This is why many people try for years to create change and feel like nothing shifts. Because they're still viewing their current life with resistance, still focusing on their fears more than their future. And the field responds to the lens you look through. The power isn't in the words you say. It's in the frequency you perceive from. When you tune into the field as the silent observer, detached from panic, free from judgment, and anchored in faith, you become magnetic. The things you once chased start moving toward you. Not because you did more, but because you became emptier of noise and fuller of being. This isn't passive. It's one of the most active practices you can master. To witness your life without believing what you see is permanent. To hold space for what wants to emerge, even when there's no proof of it yet. To stay centered while the world shifts around you. Because you're not waiting anymore. You're aligning. The silent observer isn't detached. It is deeply connected. But without the desperation that warps the signal, it watches from above with a quiet knowing that every moment is still unfolding, that nothing is fixed until you observe it with your soul. At this frequency, you remember. Reality isn't some external force, it's a reflection of your awareness. And the more still, certain, and coherent your awareness becomes, the clearer the reflection. So how do you live from this space? You start by practicing presence. You train your nervous system to trust the unknown. You let go of the need to overanalyze. You observe your thoughts like passing clouds, neither clinging nor chasing them. You breathe deeper. You slow down. You return again and again to the part of you that simply sees. And from that seeing, creation unfolds. The world will still distract you. Old habits will try to drag you back. The ego will whisper that you're not doing enough. But every time you return to the frequency of the silent observer, you realign. You remind the field who's in charge. And you watch as life rearranges itself to match your vibration. This is the true seat of power. You don't need to control outcomes. You don't need to perform rituals out of fear. You only need to observe, with heart, with awareness, with trust. Because at this frequency, you're no longer separate from what you seek. You are the field itself, remembering itself. And the moment you truly realize that, the wave collapses. The illusion shatters. The miracle arrives. So here's the final invitation. Let go of needing proof. Become the presence that draws it in. Release the struggle. Embody the state. Don't just imagine your dream life. Observe it. From that space within you that knows it's already real. Because the silent observer doesn't create by chance. It creates through coherence. What does it choose? To watch. And then watch as it come to life. Let this be your sign. A shift in how you engage with your world, and an awakening of the creator you already are.